lots of things to do, and nothing but a very friendly greeting wherever we go. It's a tour I'd really recommend to people, not because you want to come here and have a few drinks and go out in the night and have wild evenings. It's not that sort of place, but it's a deeply fascinating country to come and visit, and that's why we're very lucky indeed to come here.
The media back home portray Pakistan as being like a difficult place, perhaps a fundamentalist religious place, and the people have been absolutely brilliant. Just like welcoming everywhere you go, walking on the street. People have been shaking our hands, wanting to know our views on the cricket, and particularly our views on their own country, because they're worried that the West portrays Pakistan as maybe a difficult place to go. The old terrorist thing comes up, and we tell them, yeah, well, we're not worried about coming here, and yeah, it is portrayed badly, but you're all right, you know, you're great people.
Dressing as the locals do helps, I think. I think we get a bit more respect from the locals on the basis that we actually are trying to fit in. We're not trying to be Westerners in their country. We're trying to dress the way they do things the same way that they will, eat in the same restaurants. And just being polite to people means that they're very polite back. Haven't felt out of place really at any time.
I think from afar, from 6,000 miles away, it probably appears a scary place to go. It's a little bit off people's radars, isn't it? But when you come here, we need patience. You need to have a certain tolerance level for certain things. Things are done differently here than they are at home. But when you get here and you meet the people who are unbelievably friendly, you are treated as a bit of an oddity at certain times, which in itself is quite interesting. You go to a Multan and there aren't many pasty Westerners walking down the street, so when they do see someone like me, particularly with my slightly reddish hair, then you are a bit of an oddity, and people come up to you and ask your name and what you're doing here and shake your hand, and it's a fascinating experience.
But over here we seem to be, every time we do get up and sing, it seems to inspire the whole ground, and the noise that the home fans are making here is quite some racket really, and really inspiring, particularly Shoaib at the moment.
The players that have been selected, I personally think, have done very well. I think it's a learning curve, but coming off the back of an Ashes series, I don't really think our bowlers have been at 100% up on firepower. But it's been a learning tour and it's been a very enjoyable one.
So, if the cricket played by the England team has had a mixed reception, the tour as a whole has been a complete success. Great fun and, importantly, relatively inexpensive.
Flights were about 500 return. Obviously we couldn't get direct flights, we've had to fly via X, Y and Z to get here. We probably spent about £1,000, or we will have spent about £1,000 over the 2-month tour.
2 months, so about £100 a week. I mean, have you been eating the local food?
Yep, eating the local food, drinking at chai stalls in the evening. Sometimes it's really difficult to pay for anything at all. If we go and sit in a chai stall on a local street and just sit there and have a cup of tea with the locals, they're so happy that we're there, they won't let us pay for it. Nikki missed the first day in Multan, but that was because we ate in a posh restaurant. We went to the best restaurant that Multan had to offer the night before. She came down with food poisoning and was in bed for the best part of 2 days. So we've learned from that. We now eat in local restaurants where they cook food fresh in front of you, and we've been absolutely fine.
Yeah, I mean, obviously you've got your top-end hotels. We don't tend to go for those because we're out for a long period of months. So yeah, certainly down in Multan, you can get sort of a room for £2 a night, that kind of thing. I mean, cheap as anything. Probably not what people would consider a tourist hotel, more a sort of local type hotel. Yeah, I mean, you can get on a bus and travel a sort of 5-hour bus journey for £1.70. Train, similar sort of thing. Trains tend to take a bit longer because they tend to go sort of fairly slowly and stop at a lot of stations, but it's a nice way to travel.
The other abiding memory from the tour, the enthusiasm and friendliness of the Pakistan supporters.
Off the pitch has been brilliant. I think the atmosphere over here, particularly today, has shown exactly if a crowd gets behind a team what can happen. And although the England team played a few poor shots today, I think the crowd really got behind the Pakistan bowlers and made the big difference.
I think the Pakistani crowds here, cricket-wise, have been the best crowds I've ever seen, cricketing-wise, with their noise and their passion. There's a massive amount of passion here for the game of cricket.